Welcome to Fox Valley Today. I am your host, Menagerie. It is a very busy season for the Fox Valley Park District's Performing Arts, and we are here joined today by their Performing Arts Manager, Kyle Donahue. Welcome again. Thanks for coming back to the studio.
Thanks for having me again. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, you've got a big show coming up this weekend, but then plenty of things coming up through the spring. It's a busy time for you guys, so
that's right.
Looking forward to hearing about it.
Yeah, we have coming up. We have another Fox Valley Theater Guild show, which is our adult theater group, and we have the Glass Menagerie coming up, which is a Tennessee Williams classic.
Yeah.
So we're very excited about that. That's this weekend, and we're kind of trying to let everyone know about that, and hope we have some folks come out for that.
Absolutely. Now, it's been a while since I've seen this show. It's a small cast, is that right?
It is. It's only 4 people, but it is, if you're familiar with Tennessee Williams, it's his kind of breakout play. It's his first play that he wrote, and it has a Chicago home because it premiered in Chicago before they took it to New York. So it's a memory play, and it's a kind of a serious play about relationships, highly based on his life. So there's 4 people in it, and they're all fantastic actors, kind of stretching their acting chops doing Tennessee Williams, which is a challenge. Definitely.
Right. Now, is this is a Southern play? Does it kind of have you placed it there? I mean, you're not the director, but for this production, is it really true to its roots there? Or?
Yeah, I think definitely. It's the southern part of it is that the mother, Amanda, who is definitely based on Tennessee Williams' mother, is kind of a fallen Southern belle. So it's kind of a broken home, and her husband has walked out, I think, 16 years before the play starts. So she was a Southern belle that was married off, and then her husband walked off and left her with 2 kids. So she has Laura, who's the older sister, and then Jim, who is our narrator based on Tennessee Williams, whose real name, Tom, and his real name actually was Thomas Tennessee Williams. So he's our narrator, and those 2 kids are left, and Laura is has some special needs and is kind of a homebody, and the mother is very high-strung. So. I don't know if anyone can relate to that, but it's an interesting story. Lots of relationship development throughout the show, and then of course I mentioned Jim earlier. Jim is actually the gentleman caller. So the mother, who was the Southern belle, wants to get her daughter Laura married off. So Tom brings in his friend Jim from high school, and we kind of see what his life path has brought, and then the relationship that develops between Laura and him, and where that might go or where it might not go. It's kind of an interesting ending that I don't want to give away.
Right. So Jim kind of comes into the family environment there. The mother with her 2 children, and all the dysfunctions that could come along with that, and he's sort of put in the middle of those relationships. So.
Absolutely, yeah. And actually, it's a really dynamic relationship because. Tom and his mother, Amanda, are always fighting with each other, and Tom feels guilt because he's making a living for the family and trying to support the family, and feels a real connection with his sister, who he wants to take care of, but his mother's always, telling him to make something of his life and go do something. But he's an artist, and he wants to go create art. He wants to write, so he's kind of struggling between these 2 worlds, and I mentioned it's a memory play, so it's all narration with him kind of looking back, and it's interestingly written. We see lots of kind of illusions, lots of metaphors with the dialogue, and then lots of imagery and things too. So it's kind of a flashback story, and maybe Tennessee Williams is kind of talking to his sister Laura and wishing that he had done things differently. So
interesting. Yeah, I wasn't really aware of that the actual history for himself, the personal history that was involved with that. We talked a little bit before the show about Tennessee Williams. This was his first one, you said, and then he went on to do some pretty big plays, and that were then turned into films and that sort of thing. Yeah. We were chatting too about Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, Streetcar Named Desire, really big, heavy shows. Right.
And, in the performing arts, I think those are kind of classics. So it's really thrilling to have that at the Fox Valley Park District, to be able to put shows on like that, because you know, I don't think that we see them a lot around the community, so it's nice to see those heavier shows available for people in the community to perform in too.
Right. I kind of feel like the Glass Menagerie is one where if you're affected by that show and you've seen it before and you really like it, anytime it's put on around here, you'd want to go see it because it's just such a character-driven story, like seeing who is bringing something new to the roles and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and that's a great point. And when you look back at all the famous people who have played the roles through the many generations, and the different revivals of the play, and there's been a couple different films and a couple different made-for-TV versions. You know, there's a lot of great actors who played some of those roles, and they're challenging roles too.
Yeah.
So we have a really great cast, actually. And speaking of them, we have some adults in the community who have done some of our shows before. We have a really strong theater guild member who is very active in our theater guild things, and she's playing Laura. Her name is Veronica Martinez. And then we have a couple newcomers too. We have an adult improv group, and so we have a fellow there from our adult improv group who has joined the cast, and then a local college student who has joined in too. So a really interesting group of actors bringing it together for us.
Now, who is directing this production?
Yeah, our director is Nicole Chesley, and she's an extremely talented young woman, and she went to school for the arts, and she has a family now, and she likes to tell the story, and we've talked before about her involvement in the Park District. She just decided one day to come see a show at the Park District, and since then she's been really involved. She has a family that's very involved, and her and her husband come and support the shows, and she's really interested in directing, so we talked about her experience and decided to try to go forward with the Glass Menagerie with her. So
oh wow! So this is her first time directing
at the Park District. Yeah. So I'm thrilled to have her. She's so creative and organized and passionate and positive too, which is really nice to have working on a show, especially with material like this. It's nice to have someone who's really positive about it, bringing a lot of creativity. And then we have an assistant director who's Jonathan Tobin, and he's bringing a lot of creativity to the show as well. It's really nice to have him on board. He's been a volunteer for us for a long time, and he was interested in kind of getting his feet wet in the directing arena. So it's been a really good fit, and they've been a really good team. So
nice. Yeah. I wonder, was this kind of an easier one to tackle for them because of the fact that it's a smaller cast and everything? Or I mean, there are different challenges then as well because you're trying to get a lot more, you know, from those people.
I think that's the key. There are different challenges because even though it's a small cast, you know, auditions were difficult for the men because I think it is challenging material. So we were lucky to get a really strong cast, but that was a challenge. And then the material itself is very wordy, lots of emotion and intensity behind it. And I know one thing that we're doing, which is kind of fun and different, is we have some projections that we'll be showing throughout the show that we spent a lot of time preparing for, a lot of meetings about those projections. But I think it's turned into something really nice. It's going to add a nice flavor to the show. There's a lot of, like I mentioned, like symbols and metaphors in the show, and different kind of flashbacks. So that's how the projection will be used. And, and that's been Nicole and John's kind of main contribution to something completely different that is not usually in the show. So.
Wow, so a lot of new things kind of happening with this production here. Let's get the information out there for people who are looking to attend, the show dates and where to get tickets and that.
Sure. The show is this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and tickets are $8 in advance, and you can get them at www.seatyourself.biz/foxvalleyparkdistrict. If that's too long for you to remember, you can just go to our Fox Valley Park District website, which is foxvalleyparkdistrict.org. And look for the Glass Menagerie. It's 2 evening shows. So we have Friday at 7 o'clock, Saturday at 7 o'clock, and then we have a matinee. So we have an afternoon show on Sunday at 2 o'clock. And you can, if you don't want to plan ahead, you can get tickets at the door. They're $10 at the door. And we also have a student price of $5 a ticket, trying to encourage our high school students and our college students to bring their student IDs.
Oh, nice.
And purchase tickets. You can buy those ahead of time or at the door. and see this really educational piece of literature that's a classic.
Yeah. $5 either way for those if they get them ahead of time or at the door?
$5 either way.
Okay.
Come on out, students.
Nice. And talk a little bit about where you're located and where this production is going to be held and housed inside of that building.
Yeah, we're at the Prisco Community Center, which is 150 West Illinois Avenue on the corner of Lake and Illinois Street. We're close to downtown Aurora. It's a nice location. It is a community center, so there's a lot going on there.
Right.
We have a fitness area, a gym, we have dance classes and fitness classes and a preschool. But we have a nice little nook in the corner of the building, a nice theater that has some great technical capabilities. We have some great stage lighting and some great professional sound, and of course a full set for this show too. So when you come out, you won't be disappointed with the quality of this community production.
All right, it sounds really exciting. I mean, everything just really sounds cool for this. The play itself is really great, but you know, the new things that are happening with it and the cast that you have just sounds really cool. So I want to make sure when people get there to the Prisco Center, you're going to park in a general area. Is there a main door they should go in? A certain place to head for tickets?
Sure, yeah. If the entrances are labeled north and south, so if you go in the north entrance, if you haven't purchased tickets, you can go in the north entrance and go to our box office, which is our front desk, and there's signs all over the day of the show that kind of point you which direction to go. In the parking lot, yep, it's free parking. There's a really nice parking lot along the river, and there'll definitely be space available.
All right. Concessions available during the show, I hope.
Yeah, it kind of helps get us in the mood for a stage production. So we do have concessions available before the show and during intermission, kind of help fill people up a little bit, and all the proceeds go right back into the program too, which is a nice benefit of that. So we encourage folks to come and support us through that way too.
All right, awesome. Well, the Glass Menagerie is happening this weekend at the Prisco Community Center, put on by the Fox Valley Park District and the Fox Valley Theater Guild. We will take a quick break here, but when we return, we'll hear more about what's happening with the performing arts over there at the Fox Valley Park District. Stay with us on Fox Valley Today.
Why is my son having trouble in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with my son over his homework.
Home, walk, restaurant. Need a review?
No. He's smart, but his mind wanders.
7 wonders of the world.
Why don't you understand me?
I do. I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Oh, look, a redhead. Staring contest. You still got it.
I know. Come alive with the forest.
The dog is cute.
They were looking right at us. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him winning both the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year, 1 in 195 million. The odds of the child being diagnosed with autism, 1 in 68. I'm Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
Right, mi cariño. So like I said, everything I learned about cooking, I learned from grandmas and bananas. Shall we go again?
Yep.
Mix beef with the onions with the peppers with the paprika, the garlic with the oregano with the cumin. Got it?
Got it.
Throw in the olives, stir, season, stir again, pour out the flour, roll out the dough, make a circle, drop in a fistful of filling, fold over, press down, and ta-da!
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
Welcome back to Fox Valley Today. I am Menagerie, and before we get back to Kyle Donahue in the studio here, we do have some advanced photos that have been released for the Paramount's Les Miserables that is coming up. I know a lot of people are excited about that if you're in the theater world at all. This is one of the biggest musicals and really looking forward to it, so we're going to take a quick look at these photos. Les Mis happening at the Paramount, that's opening in March 18th and playing through April 26th, so let's take a look at those. Hopefully they're going to be working here. All right, we've got Robert Wilde is playing, and of course I don't know all of these pronunciations that well, but Valjean. Hannah Corneau is playing Fantine, and Erica Stefan is Cosette. Really just one of the greatest musicals that has ever been written, and not to pump it up too much, but I think really looking forward to these performances. Rod Thomas is Javert. Do you know this better than I do, Kyle? Javert. Yeah. Great. It's those French pronunciations. So as you can see, actually one of the exciting things, Robert Wilde is, I guess he's a Naperville native, so he's from the area. It's kind of exciting to see. We have a lot of Chicago talent coming out to the Paramount for a lot of their Broadway series, and he's going to be, it's kind of nice to see kind of a hometown hero type guy coming in. So again, that's Les Mis happening at the Paramount. It does open up March 18th. I know a lot of people have season subscriptions, so you kind of have your dates already set, but if not and you're looking to get tickets for that, ParamountAurora.com. Photo credit to Thomas J. King for those photos, and thanks to the Paramount for those. But let's switch gears here. Coming up before that, we've got Glass Menagerie happening at Prisco Community Center this weekend. And then as we head into March, we're already in March, but it's really getting kicked off here with that, and then you guys have got like one event after another here. Yeah, it does get busy, but it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of things, and I think part of the reason we have so much is we have different things for different people, different age groups and different folks. So I think coming up next, we have a showcase next week of Dr. Seuss's work. So neat. To celebrate his birthday this month. Yeah, it kind of goes along with that. Or last month, I guess. But a lot of the kids, we have a class that a lot of kids take, and we have some songs and scenes, including Dr. Seuss's work. So that's next Wednesday. It's only $3. So wow. It's really affordable. Yeah. It's a great thing to come out for the family and support them. And it's a full showcase with costumes and makeup and lots of stuff like that. Okay. And then we have, during March, we have our spring break things, of course. And so this month we have our spring break talent show, and auditions come up at the end of the month here. Oh, cool. Anyone's welcome to come audition. This is, I think, our 3rd or 4th annual year doing it. It's free to be part of, and again, it's a really affordable show to come get tickets for, and kind of fun to do during spring break too. Okay. So, and in conjunction with that, we've been doing an art show. So if you're an artist and you want to present your work, the theme this year is your favorite animals. So kids can draw and create different artwork and submit it to the Prisco Community Center at the end of March. The last day of March, I think it's the 31st, is the talent show and art show. Okay. So you can come out and see what the kids are doing, and some college kids too. We have through age 25, I think, or so. Oh, okay. So like students of anybody who is a student kind of is the criteria? Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yep, and I'm not sure. I think you have our list there. Now, you have an adult improv show. You kind of talked about that a little bit. Yeah, thanks for mentioning that. So this month we have our first improv showcase. So we have a new improv group that's, well, they've been around for a while, but this is the first time that they're doing a showcase. They're called Interrobang, self-named, which I guess is the name for the symbol, which is kind of a combination of a question mark, exclamation point. Okay. So it should be fun. It's mature language, so adults I would recommend only, but it's coming up at the end of March for that as well, Friday night. And then they'll have another showcase in May too, so we're putting a couple out there this spring for them. Now, do you have classes that are open for that, or how does the improv work? Yes, absolutely. Anyone's welcome to come join at any time. So they meet Sundays at 6:30 at the Prisco Center. There's no fee to be part of it, so if you're interested or you're not sure you want to be part of it, I definitely suggest coming out. We have a great improv coach. Her name's Elizabeth Krahulik. She works a lot with us. And she has a lot of experience with improv, and she's really good at drawing out
the funnies from everyone. So it's a lot of fun, and I think it's a great adult group.
Now, have you participated in that at all? I think that's one of those things, if you've done it before, you kind of feel comfortable, but if you haven't, that can be kind of intimidating to get into that. It can be kind of intimidating.
I am not personally an improv person. That is not one of my things. I have done it, but it's not my cup of tea necessarily.
So more of a spectator.
I'm a spectator in the improv arena, yeah,
all right.
Absolutely.
Now, so you've got those things, you've kind of got some different, children's events, adult events. Mm-hmm. Upcoming auditions I know you have that are sort of open for those different groups as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So after our Glass Menagerie closes, right away we have another adult audition. So we have Midsummer Night's Dream, our Shakespeare production coming up. And auditions, I think, are next Wednesday.
Okay.
And that's for teens and adults, so anyone can come out and be part of that. It's our first full Shakespeare show that we're doing at the Park District. So we have a really great new director. She has a lot of experience, Dinah Geisler, and a great assistant director, Amanda Strolia. And it's going to be a great team of some really educated people with a lot of creativity. So I'm really excited. It's fun to do a Shakespeare, too, since we haven't done that before. And hopefully we get some folks to come out for that. And be part. A lot of great characters. Low time commitment, so Tuesday, Thursday rehearsals we usually do, and the show is at the end of May.
Okay. And that's something, I mean, have you kind of been building up to this full Shakespeare? What have you done in the past that's been sort of...
I kind of think this whole year has been an interesting kind of climax to what we've been kind of working on the last few years at the Park District, because we have done some heavy-hitting dramas this year, and then our Shakespeare. In the past for Shakespeare, we have tried different scenes from Shakespeare and sonnets, and we've included it as part of our Valentine show.
Oh, okay.
And we've held a couple different workshops. So this is definitely kind of the culmination of that, and hearing the interest in doing a Shakespeare production from the adults in the community. So. I hope there's a lot of characters in Midsummer, so I do hope we get a lot of folks to come out for that. And if you've never done Shakespeare before, it's okay. It's a safe place for us to kind of explore that with you, and there'll be a lot of education along the way too, in terms of what everything means if you're not sure.
Right.
It's a great kind of art form that we haven't really dipped into yet, so we're excited.
Now, you talked about the past few years at the Park District, kind of what you've been, working towards. Is that how long you've been with the Park District as Performing Arts Manager?
Yeah, I started around the summer of 2011, so I've been there for a few years. And, when I started, there were a couple big productions. We have our summer stage production, which we actually do at the Paramount. So we're excited to go back again this summer. We'll be doing The Wiz there this summer.
Oh, fun.
And auditions for that are at the end of May, beginning of June, actually, I think, June 2nd. So we go back there every summer. It's been over 40 years that they've been doing this summer show.
Wow.
So that was way before my time. And we have a great director, Arlene Hawks, who kind of takes that under her belt to make that kind of happen. And it's a really big show, great big tradition. We usually have over 150 people involved in it, a live orchestra, and we're at the Paramount usually, so it's a big show. And then we have our Winter Stage show, which is over 10 years old, and that's during the January time. This year we did The Addams Family, which is kind of a fun, kind of contemporary Broadway show. And then I was kind of asked to kind of fill in between and kind of amp up the performing arts a little bit, because they felt like there was a dip between the two shows. So that's kind of how this ended up to be like this.
Now, what are the different groups that sort of fall under you for the Performing Arts Manager? I mean, you've got all these different things happening, the improv and the children's theater and that sort of thing. But what are the main groups that you kind of head up?
We have our Premier Theater Company, which is kind of a newly branded company, and that falls under the Park District, and we put on all the shows, and all of our instructors are under the Premier Theater Company title. We have the Adagio Music Studio, which teaches all of our music classes, and that's an entity of the Park District as well. And then other performing companies are Parker's Children's Theater. So if your school or church or organization is interested in having some professional adult actors come in and do a children's theater show with your group, we do that. We have a few shows that we offer. We have kind of a biology show about the human body, and then we have The Three Little Pigs, which is a fun kind of preschool musical, and then we have The Wizard of Oz if you're looking kind of for a literary classic. But that's kind of a professional group that goes out and performs for kids. And of course we have our dance department too, which is our Steppin' Out Dance Studio and our A Factor competition team. And they're in competition season right now, and they do, they win a lot of awards. They're a really talented group, and we're thrilled to have them at the Park District too.
Awesome. So yeah, you really are kind of far-reaching with what you've kind of come into here. And what is your background? As when you started the performing arts job here, what were you really bringing to the district, do you think?
Yeah, I was a performer for a long time.
Okay.
So for about 10 years I traveled the world, I guess. I did cruise ships and theme parks and regional theaters. I went to New York and was out there for a while, and I went to LA for a little while. And I've just kind of been everywhere, and I traveled with my wife, and we're both performers, so our strength is musical theater, so we did a lot of singing and dancing and the occasional drama along the way, a straight show as well. So, and then along the way too, I was directing and producing. So we came back to the Fox Valley area. My wife is from this area, and we wanted to have a family. So now we have 2 little ones, another one on the way in April.
Oh, congrats.
And thank you. And so so that's keeping me busy too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm very blessed to be at the Park District because there is such a big support for the performing arts there. So we're able to kind of try new things and reach out to other community members and try to do what the community is looking for us to do, and be there to support them in whatever they'd like. So.
Right. Now, have you had any time at all to be on stage? Have you done any performing since coming back to the Fox Valley area?
When I first got back, I was still kind of running around and being crazy and young, and I was at Drury Lane, Oak Brook, and I did 7 Brides for 7 Brothers over there. And then since then, I still do direct at some local theaters. And actually, in Les Mis, Erica, who I saw a photo of, I just worked with her recently. I directed her in a show, so I still get to kind of mix in with that professional world, which is kind of fun. And yeah, so I kind of keep busy with that too.
Do you ever miss getting out on stage?
I do. I really love performing, and I love singing and dancing, and I teach on the side a lot, so I get to kind of keep in shape a little bit, and I'm often singing around the community, so kind of keep my chops going.
Right.
But I do miss it, but I love my family, and I'm thrilled to have a nice job in the performing arts, not to be, sitting behind a desk doing something that I don't think I would enjoy. So. And
so many exciting new things that you get to kind of try out and have people come alongside you for those. A lot of those different venues that you have. I want to make sure that we get the info out again about the Glass Menagerie happening this weekend.
Yes, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 7 o'clock Friday and Saturday, and 2 o'clock on Sunday. $8 tickets in advance and $10 at the door. And again, it's a community production, so please come out and support the community. These actors are really great. The design team has put a lot of work into it, so it should be a fun show. Yeah, really exciting. Looking forward to it. And I should mention you guys do have a Facebook page in addition to your regular website. You can find a lot of the info there as well. Yeah, we have our Facebook page is the Fox Valley Park District Performing Arts, so we try to keep up to date on all the events. You can kind of scroll through our events, and we have fun posts throughout the weeks too, so you can kind of participate in that too. But yeah, we try to keep up on everything there too. All right, great. A brief little shout out before we go here. I did see a fundraiser coming up that has a Frozen theme, and everybody who is looking for something Frozen, this is it. In April, is that right? Yes, in April. This was an idea one of our instructors brought. She is often dressing up like Elsa for parties now. Okay. She's for hire as Elsa. So she will be there. She will be there. We will have an Elsa there, and we're going to be showing the movie and doing popcorn and some games and crafts. It should be a lot of fun. It's a great night out for adults if you're interested in kind of dropping off your kids and having an adult night out. Okay. You can come back later and we'll keep your kids entertained. And it's a fundraiser for our Premier Theater Company for our classes. Awesome. April 17th, that's coming up, so be on the lookout for that. But check out the Glass Menagerie this weekend at the Prisco Community Center, put on by the Fox Valley Theater Guild through the Fox Valley Park District. Kyle Donahue, the Performing Arts Manager for the Park District, thanks so much for coming out. Thanks for having me again. All right, and thanks for tuning in to Fox Valley Today. We'll see you next time.